Hello everyone, welcome back to the fifth episode of Rennmont in City Skylines. Today we are going to add some new processing buildings to our industrial areas because industrial demand has just popped back up. So first things first, I'm going to make an underpass underneath the train connection here so that we can have trucks go to the processing building area without crossing the railroad, so we have a secondary access there. We are going to add some of the big industrial DLC processing buildings because we already have some smaller buildings there in our main area that we built some episodes ago, but this time it's going to be with the bigger buildings there, and we can have a secondary entrance to the industrial area there. Of course, we already have some truck traffic entering that road because it's a very good idea to have more than one entrances to your industrial area. I'm going to add some of these smaller buildings there, maybe with procedural objects, to add a bit of detail to the new entrance I'm building here. This entrance is going to have a bit more traffic than the other one because this is the area where most of the trucks will be entering to deliver products to be processed, either if they are being imported or not. I'm going to do some extra work here with intersection marking tool just to get some more realism going on here. And yeah, it will sure look a bit nicer if we do the extra detailing there. I'm just taking a while to do it because the roads here aren't quite equal, so I'm trying to understand where the lines should go, and now I can start to actually make something there. So we have a 3-line asymmetrical road, 2 lines coming in and 1 line coming out, and we have a 2-lane road there with a median as the other 2 roads there that give access to the industrial area. I'm trying to make the fillers look a bit like the vanilla roads there, and it looks quite similar, not exactly the same, but it's good enough. And we have this smaller line there so that vehicles can turn into and out of the industrial area instead of just having a blank intersection. I think it looks a bit better there. Of course, we are going to also add some of the signs there in a moment, but I think that this way it looks a bit better. Of course, we can't forget to get the power going. This is going to be like the first place where the power lines meet before going to the main industry area. And we also have a bit of the pipes coming in already. After that, we can start plopping in the industry main building. We are going to relocate the thing and try to make a new layout that also respects the tree, the little forest we have there. I think that looks nicer, and I'm also going to give some space to the actual buildings there instead of just plopping them near the road. And then I'm going to use surface painter to get all the place surrounding the building to look the same. I actually added a road that goes into the building, but I think that was a bit unnecessary, so I end up cutting it back a little. And I also changed the spawn points to be inside of those little loading areas there, just to give that extra touch that I think also looks good. It doesn't work as good I would like them to, but it's good enough to give the realism aspect that I'm looking for. You can see the spawn points there, they're not quite doing what I want them to. We kinda need a road to be there, but I can just paint over it with the surface painter, and it also looks good there. And now you can see, so that's the first building of those. I'm going to add some of those containers and crates and pallets there, so that it gives an extra bit of detail, but that will be in a bit later in the video. I'm trying to get the four-way intersection to look good there, but I end up just making it two separate roads because it just looked a bit too stacked over each other. So we have two different roads there, one to get the trucks in and one to get the trucks out. In the future I can also add a bit of bus network that comes around the area, so that the workers here can have another way of coming in besides the car. Or maybe I can also add a bit of a bike lane so people can bike to work. Now we're adding the second building here. That's a bit of log storage site there on the side of the road. It fits just by a little, but we can actually get it to fit there. It's by an inch, but it does work out. I'm also removing the trees from the storage building there, because we don't have any conifers on this map, so it looked weird to have them on the building there. So at the moment it's empty, but it will fill up very quickly once we do that. I'm not sure if the building I plopped there is an actual a procedural object or not. I think it is, but I'm not sure. But yeah, it gives that bit of an administration building with some offices dedicated to running the operations involved with the industry area. Here is some expansion to the road layout, and then I plop this big building here that I actually end up removing because it was quite big. It looks way better if we have something smaller instead of just a huge building there. It doesn't fit with the landscape at all, so I will end up removing it. But before I do that, I end up just changing the spawn points there, because the vanilla spawn points on the industrial DLC building don't look very good. And now we have some unique factories there to produce those special goods that turn in some profit for the city. And of course I'm making the roads a bit bigger so to fill the space there, and I'm making the intersections a bit more truck friendly so that they can turn with a bit more freedom there. These asphalt areas are going to be filled with some containers and loading bays that I will be building shortly. There we go. Just making sure that they don't overlap with the spawn points I set earlier. But there we go. It's the sped up detailing footage I always have in the videos. Some pallets there. And some trucks. I'm actually going to add a bit of a platform there to work as a loading bay. The same platform I used for the train station earlier in the beginning of the series, it can also work as a loading bay platform. If you do it, you can either do it detached or attached to the building you're doing. So I'm going to make it a bit bigger and then add a little bit of a ramp, and then we get some trucks. I lately have downloaded a bit more trucks, so in a future episode I can replace the ones I have here with a more with a wider range of truck textures instead of just having the same truck all over again. I think that looks a bit nicer than just having empty areas all over the place. And I'm also adding a line of bollards around the big access road I made there, and removing the ones that are in the way of the trucks, because, well, how would they exit otherwise? And then adding some speed limit signs, because that road is a bit bigger than the vanilla game, so the signs don't load in. There we go, that's way better than just having it empty. Some more containers near the big building. I will actually be moving those in a bit because I end up removing that building, but the process is also interesting. So I make this area here a bit bigger, so that's a nicer, more complete loading bay with room for more trucks. There we go. And then some flakes there, because after all this is a wood processing area. It doesn't make that much sense having a tree plantation that's actually made of well, apple trees, because you will either be harvesting the apple trees or the wood. So yeah, if we just ignore that part and pretend it's all fun and games, it might just work out. Some more pallets there with plenty of wood and crates and boxes and planks there. And we get an invisible road going through. Well, the road isn't actually invisible, it's just the same texture as the asphalt there. It doesn't have any decorations. And then the loading bay again. There we go, some more plaques there. And containers everywhere. Making sure to not block the truck's path. And there we go, a bit of zoom in the area I just made there. And having a bit of well, I mean, now that's the realization that I can't produce any of the unique factory buildings that I try to do there, because that's actually using plastics, and I don't produce plastics locally, and I can't import them either. I think you should be able to import them, but, well, the game doesn't agree with that. So I end up replacing the building with one of the oil mine buildings and an oil processing building. So I'm just going to import oil and then transform it into plastic for the unique factories there. And that works well enough. It doesn't go bad with the industrial look there. Besides it being a wood processing area, it fits quite well. So there we go. There's some plastics there and oil storage units, and then just giving it some details there and reinforcing the power grid that started to have some problems. And now an updated cinematic shot there, and also changing the speed limits on the roads there. And that's basically it for the industrial area. It's complete, and yeah, the only thing missing there is a bit of well, filling up the area there below in between the secondary road and the main road. But other than that, it's quite complete, and I think it looks good. And now we have more residential demands to fulfill in a next episode, so it's the thing we are going to do next. So see you next time.